Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week being the 13th to the 19th of May's coaching block. All right, so we've got a couple of things. Actually, we've got fucking heaps of things this week. If you went and had a look at the week ahead, over on YouTube, that's got obviously the full rundown. But here we get to look at it a little bit differently. But how can you make it work better for you? All right, just move this. Okay, so this is right now. All right, so the moon moves into Leo at 8:36 p.m. And it was so interesting. Actually, I went and saw Karen today at Metaphysical Launceston. Obviously, she is a florist, and it was Mother's Day, and we had a Cancer moon over the weekend, which is the sign of the mother. And she was so freaking busy. And I was like, isn't that interesting? I was wondering whether, like, we'll have to do an experiment if there's one year where it's in Aquarius, which is very hands-off, emotionally detached. I wonder if she would have had just as big Mother's Day, like for people buying flowers, and not just for their mothers, but she said she had a couple of people come in that bought flowers for their sisters and their aunties, so they didn't miss out. And I was like, wow, isn't that interesting? But anyway, that was just my little interesting thing. All right, so we're okay. So in at 7 p.m. we're going to have, look, they're both, basically they're exactly conjunct. All right. So the sun here is conjunct Uranus, which is, they're also conjunct Jupiter. So I'd like to sort of ask you whether you know what area Taurus is in your chart, and all of this you know what, it's probably going to be the most active place in your life right now. All right. So can you see how this Uranian energy is shifting and changing things in your life? All right. And then also we have that, because it is, that Jupiter as well. Is it because of your educating yourself, your awareness? Is it Jupiter's luck that is assisting you in the change or making you more comfortable with that change? So yeah, I'd love to hear from you to see what this Sun Uranus in Taurus is affecting your life. Okay, so there we go. All right, so you know what? I'm not going to go by week. I'm going to go aspect by aspect. All right, so let me go to hours to 6 a.m. 6 a.m. on the 14th. Yes, so look, here we have a beautiful Venus sextile Saturn. All right, so here we are, similar type of influence here. Now, because Venus is in Taurus, so we've got that Sun Uranus energy, but Venus in Taurus is very comfortable, self-assured. She knows her worth, she knows her value, such a Taurian word. And then, of course, the sextile is to Saturn in Pisces. So in the thing I've written, a practical and sensitive blend that offers stability and endurance. When you know what it is that fills your heart, you can easily work towards your dreams. All right. And of course, we've been doing Saturn in Pisces for months now. And, there's those whole, we're investigating our, those foundations, we're changing out old beliefs and reinforcing them with new current beliefs. And this aspect just gives you that self-assurance, or that assurance that you're actually doing the right thing. I mean, so many of the aspects that we have right now are pushing and shoving us towards change and new direction. Uh, Actually, the Mars, hang on. Yeah, yes, sorry, that is this week. So I will continue because they're all just shoving us in the same direction. All right, so let me move forward to the next aspect. All right, so currently on the Tuesday morning, you can see that Mercury here is still in Aries. And of course, that is our communication style, our thoughts. And in this morning's one, I was saying about when Mercury moves into Taurus, all of this irritated and impatient thought process that we could possibly be having. There we go, straight away. 3 a.m. on Thursday morning, or it's actually 3:05, but that'll do. And okay, so Now, Mercury has been in Aries for such a long time. I believe it was the beginning of March. And he's been running the whole time. Like literally think of that, of the Mercury, um, I was going to say the ideogram, but it's not an ideogram. That's just a made up word. It looks like the Nike angel. He's got the wings on his feet. So Mercury in Aries is literally like that iconography of Mercury in his flying shoes, because he's been running on his adrenals and has that fast-paced energy. All right, so moves into Taurus, and oh my God, he's just going to get to go and sit on the lounge. And you get into those modes where you can just contemplate so much when you just allow yourself to rest. The thoughts are going to calm down, and you can look at things logically and be very strategic, and or even if it's not strategic, it's laying out the strategy, but it does take you to calm down. All right. So Mercury, now Taurus is the throat and the thyroid, and Mercury is the hormones. So I would also be very aware of this, thyroid health. Whenever the sun's in Taurus anyway, I would suggest throat and thyroid health, but with Mercury moving in there as well, again, and it's not to say that it's going to make it happen, but just that influence is there. So just keep it aware of that one. All right. And so pretty much said the same thing in the words that it's time to sit down and have a rest for a while after being on high speed for a while. So now it's time to get logical and slowly move toward our goals. Now, you know, again with the push, if Mercury has actually given you the ability to um, think fast and ahead, this might be the time where you start to conceive the financials that might be involved in doing the thing as well. So, just calm down. All right. So let's move forward to the next aspect, which is Mercury square Pluto. So this is a good one. So this is on the 17th at 5 p.m. That's AM. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so Mercury square Pluto. All right, so now this is a very tense, or the potential for tension, okay, because it's a square. So there is a tension between your desire for stability, Mercury in Taurus, and your need for freedom, Pluto in Aquarius. Now, Pluto is also retrograde, all right, so Mercury is now out of shadow and moving. He's only in Taurus for like 21 days or something like that. But anyway, now Pluto in Aquarius is very rebellious anyway. He's transforming things for the sake of it. But in this case, that rebellion is coming from within. All right. So these are rebellious tendencies that I feel like might even surprise you somewhat, maybe. Anyway, so power struggles and easing into change are also potentials. Try for deep introspection and challenge any beliefs that you may have so that you get to transform and evolve. Okay, so the next one, actually, I'm just going to pause for 2 seconds. Okay, all right. Just that little quick pit stop. Another thing that I was just reminded of is Mercury in Taurus. Yes, it's the throat, but it's also speaking up. All right. And in this case, that tension is because you are speaking up about your self-worth. All right. Like I said, Venus in Taurus, she knows her worth. And I think I'm going to talk about Venus conjunct Uranus here next. So that was actually perfect, Heather, that you brought that up, because talking to people about you know your worth. So when people don't speak up, it's because they're feeling very reluctant, or they don't believe in themselves enough, or whatever, insert thing here. But in this case, yes, this is also putting up boundaries. Okay, so this is a great one. So, like looking at this, it's like, yeah, I know my worth. I need to chill out. And Pluto's over here going, but you need to be a social justice warrior and you need to go and do all the things. And he's like, I'm fucking exhausted. I'm just going to sit on the lounge. All right. So, yeah, definitely speaking up about your own value and your own worth and the things you believe in and the things that are important and valuable to you as well, as opposed to what is good for everybody else. Because if your cup is not full and you are not functioning at your best, then nobody else gets the benefits of that either. So awesome. All right. So the 17th, the 18th. All right. So we're going to move ahead. I think that was it. Time for deep introspection and challenge any beliefs you may have so you get to transform and evolve. If I didn't read that out the first time. All right. Okay, so let's move forward to the next one, which is Venus conjunct Uranus on the 18th at 9:40 p.m. Oh, hang on. On the 18th. Why am I at the 20th? Okay. All right. 9:40. Oh, that'll do. All right. Okay. So Venus here conjunct Uranus. Oh, this is a big one, actually. Look. So we've got Venus conjunct Uranus and the Sun conjunct Jupiter at the same time. So Saturday is looking to be a very juicy day. All right. So you may be drawn to unconventional relationships, or you get comfortable with doing something that is outside your norm, right? So add sparkles here. Maybe you completely change direction in a relationship because it doesn't feel right anymore. All right. So there is a chance of breakups because Venus is like, yeah, it's not working for me, buddy. And, in conjunction with, Mercury now speaking about himself more valuably, and even just the awareness, that Sun conjunct Jupiter, like that is a very, very much you can't avoid what you know to be true. Okay. All right. So, okay. Another one is financial independence. All right. So we could be looking at shaking off, or cattle prod, shaking off something that um financially, maybe you've had a burden. Again, if you break up, then you are separating your money from someone else. Or a disruption to financial security. So that's another one to be aware of. Maybe you went and spent your money on some weird thing, Uranus, because Jupiter got into your head that it was so good. All right. So I've heard so many stories about people when they're in situations and they go and spend money on weird shit. Um, Denise Duffield Thomas talks about going, she had all these bills and she was living at a home and struggling, and she went and bought a vintage tuxedo because, she tells a story about her mum, the same situation, going and buying a motorbike that she rode once, got scared, and then sold it as a loss. I remember when I was living out of home and struggling for money, and I found this amazing velvet dress with all sparkles. It was vintage. It was gorgeous. And yeah, like I needed it. No, but it was one of those, this could be the similar type of situation where you are stressed and Venus is going to go do weird shit. All right. So just be careful of that. Be careful of your spending habits because it could just look like it's so much better than it really is. All right. So yeah, it's amazing, but there are still some prickly situations there as well. All right. So the 18th. Did I do that weird? I did. All right. So 9:40 p.m. All right. So let's go back to 6. No, that's not right. It must be the wrong day. Okay, I must have written the wrong day. Sorry, guys. All right. So it must be the 19th. Oh, there we go. All right. So the 19th, we also have Mars conjunct the North Node. All right, so this is what we have been rushing ahead with, guys. It's just been this intense drive um, to get down these new paths. All right, so what have you been doing as an individual, and what are you heading towards? All right. So now that Mercury is calming down and giving you some room to think, the adrenal fatigue may have worn off a little bit. Um, are you heading in the right direction? And do you need to stop and have a drink, and just rest? So we've got, look, I mean, so many freaking changes on this day. So the drive towards destiny, there's so much change in the air that just gives you the muscle to move and the strength to endure whatever is needed. Be assertive and courageous, and keep smashing the challenges that come your way. You are becoming who you really are. So Sunday is looking to be a massive day. And I mean, I know I've said it before and nothing really happens, but the potential is there. We've got three major conjunctions: Mars, North Node; Uranus, Venus, and then Jupiter, Sun. Now on the same day, we've also got the moon in Libra being ruled by Venus. All right. So even the moon is like, "Ugh," and it's heading towards that North Node. All right. Where we get to release stuff that we don't need. So hopefully this day will show you that with a little bit of self-belief and a little bit of courage to just keep moving towards that future endeavor, it should you could take great strides and release some things, even if it is just that you've allowed yourself to sit down and chill out. Like it might just be we've been going so fast for so long that taking a breath allows those the narrative to change, or just that calm quiet space for us to make sense of all the things that we've been doing. All right, even that Jupiter Sun, just taking a moment of awareness. you know think so many things have changed, and release those old things that have been holding you back as well. And it could be those boundaries that you put up, it could be the self-belief, it could be so many things. So yeah, enjoy life's pleasures and harness the growth that is at your disposal. All right, so that is pretty much the coaching stuff for the week. Actually, hang on, while I'll stop this share. All right, just let me quickly go and have a look at the things to ponder that I've got written here, and then I'll close it out. Okay. So, things to ponder this week. So, how can I cultivate a mindset that welcomes change and innovation in my life? All right, so that's the Uranus stuff, obviously. What areas of my life could benefit from a fresh perspective or new approaches? How can I harness the energy of transformation to propel myself forward? I mean, that Sunday is all about propelling yourself forward. Okay. In what ways can I acknowledge and celebrate my achievements? Um, to summarize that one, it's a bit lengthy. What affirmations are you using at the moment? Or what tools are you using to strengthen your sense of self-worth, and to also utilize the energy that we've got right now? Okay. How do I navigate tension um between the need for growth and transformation and the need for stability? All right. So, if you can see what avenues you want to go down and you're feeling a little bit stressed, what sort of self-care can you implement? Just knowing that there are all these changes in the air. What past experiences or emotional baggage am I ready to release in order to move forward? Is there any forgiveness or acceptance that I need to be doing in my life? And what steps can I take to embrace the opportunities and blessings that await me? So, yeah, there's lots of self-exploration, growth, and change around this week, especially that big, juicy Jupiter change with the Uranian excitement, and Mars being very willing to just continue. I was going to say battle, but I don't think it's a battle. It's more of just a drive and determination to get these changes underway. So if you can recognize where these things are playing out in your life, then awesome. Oh, you know what? I'll draw a card. I got new cards today from Karen. So I'm gonna draw a card for the end of the week. There you go. I wouldn't usually have bought The Secret because I thought, that's very like I don't know what I was going to say then, but I normally wouldn't have bought these, but I had a look at them and they are really beautiful. So I got them. So what is a card to summarize this week for those that watch this recording? Ooh, you got two. Change your thoughts, change the future. At the end of every day before you go to sleep, think through the events of the day. If any events or moments didn't go the way you wanted, replay them in your mind the way you wanted them to go. You have now completely changed your future. Love that one. All right, and this one, your life is in your hands. That man can change himself and master his own destiny is the conclusion of every mind who is wide awake to the power of right thought. Oh my God, I love that. There you go. So change your thoughts, change your future. Your life is in your hands. Okay, so I'll stop the recording and I will see you next week.